Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's Sunday is doing well. It is so gorgeous outside, and summer is upon us, so this should be interesting. So, I wanted to share a little bit of a slice of my life regarding energy conversion because even as a kid, I like to listen to the radio and stuff before I go to sleep because it was just something that kept me stimulated. And of course, I came from a deficit from the Vietnam War. And so when you come from a deficit from the Vietnam War, you need all the energy you can to keep things moving. And so I found a way to self-medicate as a child is to listen to the radio before I went to sleep. And I would listen to talk radio. I would listen to music that some was like just the music of the 80s. Then I switched to talk radio to like KGO. Hey, Helen. And I listened to, just all of the different current events of the day and the news. And then I switched to then watching a bunch of movies, and I switched to watching a bunch of TV because all of that is energy. Okay. And so energy is a powerful force that you can see and cannot see at the same time. You don't really know how powerful energy is until you see it exhibit in a person, place, or thing that's able to produce energy. And so when you look at humans as a converter box, so there's transducers out there that send off energy, like, alternating currents and direct currents. You as a converter should be able to convert all energy to your benefit. But what happens is that there's so many fluctuating biochemistries that do not know how to convert energy properly, or they convert energy based upon the state of their existence. And so if they have an unbalanced energy already, and then more energy they are absorbing and being exposed to, then that's just going to accelerate the unbalanced energy that already resides within their body. So can a leopard change their spots? Absolutely, if they can change their biochemistry. In a metaphorical way, yes. I mean, I have never taken a leopard and given them jelly juice and see if actually a leopard would change the constituents of the pattern of their spots. But when you take those spots and you translate them into personalities, into belief systems, into even just skin anomalies, and then you change the biochemistry, those belief systems, those and skin anomalies and all the things that those spots represent actually do change. Like your belief systems will actually change over time. And so anyway, so me listening to the radio has always been my way of grabbing energy at night. And I still, to this day, okay, every time I go to sleep, it's hard for me to go to sleep in silence. Like, I cannot go to sleep in silence. I have to be listening to some kind of YouTube video, some kind of something to then put me to sleep. And so now that I've finally balanced out my energy, I'm able to actually sleep, but still be active. My brain waves are still active, and they are converting information even while I'm sleeping. And that's where a lot of my answers and my downloads from the universe, happen, is usually at night, of which then gives me the energy and the clarity of thought during the day. And so, that does translate to everything out there. Okay. If you have trouble sleeping at night, because really where the most brain regenerative things happen is during at night, when you are sleeping. That's why they say you must get at least 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever that amount of sleep that allows brain activity and also brain regeneration. If you are hardly ever sleeping, then you are actually using up your brain energy and you're not regenerating. And so you're going to see a lot of people right now with the amount of electric soup that's out there, with the 5G, with the politics, with the religion, the science, the wars, and all the things, all the activism. People are in the energy, and whatever their belief systems are at the time and their behaviors and their whatever, that is going to be like manipulated exponentially. That's why I say, no matter what, whatever energy that you are producing in your body and whatever energy that you're exposed to in the electrical soup is only going to enhance and even accelerate your belief systems. And so this is why it's so important to change your biochemistry, because no matter how much you try to superficially redirect your mind, if you haven't changed your biochemistry, no matter how many thought processes and how many, memes and daily affirmations that you put out there, you're not going to be able to really change the way you do things at the root level. So whatever superficial diet or whatever superficial type of behavior change you think you're going to do without changing your biochemistry, it will be very temporary, if at all. Like, I see so many people out there that, want to be able to like what they do, and they're trying their very best to like what they do, but they're not satisfied because the biochemistry hasn't been tweaked to the point of where it's producing a balanced way of doing things. Because let me tell you, every single person out there, whatever job that you're in, if you're in a job or you're in a relationship or you're in some kind of community type of thing, you have the ability to not only do your job in the most amazing way and be satisfied and like it, but you also have the ability to move up in that job. And if you don't feel you can move up in that job for whatever reason, then you will find a way to get out of your job that will then offer you something of more of an upward mobility. And so, people think that, like, I don't really do anything at home, that I'm just, just like, there's a lot of traditional thought process out there that if for a person to work, you have to be out there earning some kind of weekly paycheck. And right now, any kind of innovation has to come from a foundation of research and development. And so I use my brain. And guess what? I take my brain, take words, put words together, put them on paper, and then guess what? A new thought process, a new innovation, because of the change in my biochemistry. I am not the same person I was 3 years ago. And that's because I have stuck with the jelly juice. I have fed my brain information that's going to help promote my platform and give me a different way of looking at the world. You know how many times I went back and forth on the anti-vax and pro-vax? You know how many times I went back and forth on all the different conspiracy world and the masters of illusions? And those are, the magicians in our society that sell an illusion, which is great because that's how activity is able to be, first of all, produced, and then the gifts are extracted. The actual important energy that's out there that's being produced from all the different triggers are being extracted and then being reformulated into, inventions, into infrastructure, into new ways of doing things. Okay. And so this is very important to understand why it's so, like, paramount that you change your biochemistry, because that's where the innovation lays within. That's where the answer to getting out of whatever issue you have is there. But you have to be able to allow the communication between all of your hormones and all of your systems be so clear and so on point that you allow the intelligence of your body to finally do work the way it's supposed to, because tweaking your hormones and taking all the different things, whether it's a holistic remedy or a pill or powder supplement, or watching someone who is just, producing such an aggressive, very condensed hormone, that also is like a drug, watching the activists out there, because you get some kind of return on investment. What is that return on investment? That is making you feel like you're doing something without really doing anything at all. That you don't have the ability to convert energy on your own, so you take energy from those that are trying to give you what you think is missing. And that's why people get together, is because whether it's friends and family, whether it's best friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, the reason why people are friends with people is because they hold something that they're missing, or they see themselves in another person, and maybe they want it, or maybe they want to remind them of what it was like when they were that, so they kind of keep, so there's a reason why people keep each other around, because it does produce a chemical reaction of which some of us, feed off of that on a constant basis. And so, Jilly Juice has you really look at all of your relationships, look at your biochemistry, look at your belief systems, and then look at the innovation. Okay, innovation comes from knowledge. It comes from words. It comes from feeding your brain with things that are going to promote not only life, but innovation, not so much regurgitation. Okay, and then whatever you put your energy towards with Jilly Juice, it's gonna make whatever you do amazing. Make, like, if you're a real estate agent and you're doing Jilly Juice and you figured out how to work the market and you know what the needs are of the clients and you're very good with artistic design and you know how to put words together and put color schemes together and pictures and you target specific people, oh my God, you're going to be so amazing at your job because you have the clarity of thought to understand not only yourself, but the other person. And so you meet where people are at and you give them what they need as well as what they want. And that's the whole power of Jilly Juice. Not only you get what you need for you, but you also get what you want. And then you're able to see that, how you can do that and translate that into occupations where it is about client, patient relationships, or it is about vendor and company relationships. And you figure out what the company needs and you give and you deliver. And so when I listen to the radio at night, or listen to YouTube at night, I have headphones on or I have it, just out there. If my husband, my husband will sleep on the couch because, he falls asleep on the couch. Okay, fine. So I don't use my headphones. So I just listen to my YouTube and sometimes it's like really horrific stuff like murder stories or court cases where I hear these prosecutors and lawyers that are using all of these really great words and scenarios and even just points that they make. And I'm taking it in at a subconscious level and a conscious level because I do listen to it before I go to sleep. So I am taking on words and knowledge and energy. And then at night when I'm actually sleeping, it's converting that. My body is converting that into then part of my cells. And so when I do have, need to grab for words or grab for a concept or something, it actually comes easily because I've exposed myself to so much knowledge and energy even at night when I'm sleeping. And so I offer that to you. And then that's part of, I think the MK Ultra, if you really want to program somebody, they also do that. A lot of subliminal, messaging and listening to things, through your ears till you're feeding your brain. Well, you can do that on your own, but in a balanced way. You do it with J Juice. You start redirecting your energy and you're bringing in all kinds of energy and you figure out, what you can handle. Like I couldn't listen to some of the murder stories. Some of them are really, really just like, I can't listen to really gory stuff because that right there is like, ugh. But I can listen to like a court case. But then when they go over the actual crime, I usually fast forward. But what I like to listen to is, since there's like so many, because this court case through the Jodi Arias, she had so many days of being in court. It was like 6 months of court cases. And so when they went over the actual murder, I just, I can now listen to some of that stuff, but usually it's all the different witnesses, the character witnesses, the monologues that the lawyers are putting out there. And you hear their cadence of thought, you hear the words that they use, you see the points that they make. You can see the energy between the witness and the prosecutor, or the witness and the lawyer. And so, they are very great word magicians, and they use words obviously to their benefit to then get the jury to have a lesser sentence or have the jury, throw the book at the person. Okay. And so I urge you guys to really understand the English language, understand word magic, okay? And then understand that your biochemistry is the root of it all. And if you haven't changed your biochemistry, whatever superficial activist stance you take on, whatever persona you want to take on because you like what you heard, but you really don't have it within your biochemistry, it's not going to last long. So you have to change your biochemistry to actually take on what you want to be. If you want to be a peaceful person, you can't brainwash your mind by meditating. It comes naturally with the biochemistry. Sometimes I will just lay on my bed and not listen to anything and just be in silence for a minute. And sometimes I want to listen to something like on Netflix, and it'll be really, really like I want to listen to some kind of like horror movie, like The Haunted. Or I want to hear something that's like so warm and cuddly, like some of these heartwarming stories. And sometimes I want to get some action to get some adrenaline. And so all the different movies that are on Netflix feed into what I want at the time as far as my balance of hormones. I don't just watch exciting movies. I don't just watch comedy. I don't just watch heartwarming movies. I don't just watch, exciting movies. I watch a little of everything, and that has to do with YouTube. I'll listen to stories about the civilization and how civilization came to be, about the aliens, about different thought processes about Gaza and the Gaza Strip and all of that goes on. I'll listen to sometimes, even CNN and Fox. So Fox is kind of annoying because it's the same thing as CNN, but they're just, taking on the dualistic stuff. And so I take all the energy that's out there. I have so many different people on my Facebook. Though I do unfollow some people who are just pounding the anti this and the anti that gavel, or they're going into, talking about, you should turn off all your Wi-Fi and try to isolate yourself from energy and from electrons. And I'm like, oh my God. Or someone that's promoting their pills and their powdered supplements. I usually unfollow them. But I have so many people on my Facebook that come to my newsfeed, and some are probably on the jelly juice, and some are just kind of doing what they're doing. They're basically just living out loud, and they don't realize that, yeah, I do take data from their newsfeed. I see how humans repeat the same mistakes. I see how humans go up and down. One day they're like, I love this, and the next day, I hate this. You're like, what happened? But where did the switch happen? And so that's when I know that, people that take on these superficial ways of being, it doesn't last long because our biochemistry is not supporting them. And then they're looking for their better half, or they're looking for, crowds of people to offset or to give them the energy that they don't have. Or they're always going to parties or always doing these things to feel the validation. And so there must be a balance of it all. I mean, and so it also depends on, what your goals are and what your dreams are. Because, I think making money is great. Everyone, let me tell you, when down the road, when things are, different, because things will change. Inevitably, everything changes in the world. Nothing stays the same. But, I have my own plan of, how I'm going to save and use energy, currency, energy. Right now, I am producing energy and saving energy at the creative level. And I am working on myself. This is the time to work on yourself when you think about it, because the money and the currency and the energy will always be out there. But really, when you have the time to work on yourself, to be able to be that vessel that can convert energy in a proper way, why not take the time to do that? This is the time to finally get to the root of your biochemistry, of why it is that you feel that there is an enemy out there. Okay? And you start changing your spots. A leopard can change their spots metaphorically. Okay? I'm not going to take a leopard and show you because that would be kind of weird, but I'm telling you, at this right now, we are at such a point in the transition from the old world to the new world that this is the time that you actually work on your biochemistry. Money and energy will always be out there. I mean, it's so easy to grab. It's like if I could take the air and freeze it, you would see so much energy in the air. That's already being absorbed by you. Now you need to convert it properly to your benefit, to where then you see, a goal that you have, a bigger picture for yourself and for the people around you. Okay? And, the thing with the J juice is you want people in your world that are around you to do the J juice, because you want to be the only person in your world. When you see all your friends and family dying around you and you're the only one left, what did you do to help your friends and family? What did you do to give them the idea that you want them in your life? Because, yeah, it's easy to go through. I mean, I'm looking at this from a vampire point of view, as if, we can prove that jelly juice will give us the longevity, which could be hundreds and hundreds of years. And, if we're the only ones doing it and you're not giving that opportunity to somebody else, then you'll be like a vampire watching generations rise and fall. And I watched a movie last night. It's called Robots, Love and Death, or Death, Love and Robots, where they do talk about immortality in a dystopian type of setting, where the system is saying, okay, if you want to live forever, great, you can live forever. And those that want to have kids, and and they're risking having kids against the system because they're tired of watching generations rise and fall. Now they want something, they're willing to risk immortality to have a child. I'm like, oh my God, that's pretty crazy. But there's more to life than just, just living forever. There is art, and there's music, and there's skills to learn. It's not just a dystopian landscape. And that's why you want your friends and family who have specific gifts and talents to be around with you, because where else are you going to get that kind of diversity in your world? But if everyone's rising to fall, well, I guess you could, but then who knows, if the people that, well, that's the thing, is when you develop relationships and they die, then you got to find another friend. Can you imagine if you are doing Jilly Juice and all of your friends of the generation passed away, then you got to find new friends and hope that they actually fulfill that diversity that you're looking for? That can be exhausting. That's why some people don't want to live forever, because they don't want to see the people that they know, die, and then they're still living on trying to figure out how to make it. So that's why adaptability is so important with J Juice, is that you're able to adapt, and and you have your group of friends, and you have your that are living indefinitely, but they're not like so like emotionally out there that they'll tax you. And so we're coming into a new world where even Netflix and the artists on Netflix are understanding that humans are going to finally tap into immortality, and it's already happening. I'm coming up against so much resistance in the world that I live in, but that's part of evolution, is you're coming up against resistance. When Columbus went over, to the West Indies, and actually it's not the West Indies, in America, and he met the Native Americans who came up with so much resistance. They don't want to deal with evolution. But instead of looking at, the Spanish and the Europeans as colonizers and whatever, they were evolvers. But they didn't look at it that way because they were still coming from a very caveman perspective of like kill or be killed type of thing. You evolve with us or we kill you. And it's like, oh my God, that's pretty archaic. That's very draconian. But that was a time back in the Middle Ages and way back in the days of Christopher Columbus and the beginning of America. So, you guys start looking at the future. Start being an example. If you're doing J Juice, be the example. Show the people what it's like to have a balanced biochemistry. Because yes, it will get tiresome watching. People already experience that now in my world. So they're saying, I'm tired of watching my friends and family die. Well, yeah, the energy in the atmosphere is so palpable that whatever belief system you have is going to be accelerated to such a level. And so destruction is going to happen that much faster for those that are in self-destruct mode. And so at some point, you must balance out your generosity to the people around you, where you're giving them the option of J Juice. Or yes, you cannibalize the people around you because you have that power to cannibalize the people around you. So there must be a balance. And so I offer that to you guys. Anyways, you guys have a good Sunday. It was great to see you. I'm drinking my coffee. Convert the energy to your benefit. Take the time to work on yourself. Take the time. Take the time, because let me tell you, if you don't work on yourself and you're always at neutral, and then there's a whole virus and a whole like aggressive virus, and then you haven't really worked on yourself to such an extent to see the actual specific measurable results, then you will be even that much further behind the 8 ball. And then you're going to have to take a break from your job. Okay? So make sure that whatever gas that you're riding on right now is gas that was earned. You're not actually riding on fumes. Earn the gas, earn the energy that you're using, and try to see if you can make your community better, because it's going to be tough watching friends and family rise and fall every generation. All right, bye.